Hi there, I'm nicodehaan, and welcome to Living a Primal Lifestyle, where we explore and return to a more balanced and natural wild world.
To recover our natural health and regain our rights and freedoms, I'm Ellen Dahan.
Yeah, and it's a beautiful day in Durango, Colorado. Right now, it's about 37 degrees, going up to about 38, I think, today, and freezing overnight. But we have snow on the ground.
We do indeed.
Yeah, so
We
it's
got
been,
about, the weather guy said we got 8 inches. I don't think we got quite that much, but we certainly got about
well, I
6 or
shoveled
7.
the driveway three
3 times,
times, and the
yes.
first couple of times, the first one was like about 4 inches, and then there was like an inch and another inch, maybe a little bit more.
So maybe around 7 inches.
Yeah, maybe something like that. So that was nice.
And it held off until we got home. So
Yeah,
that was nice.
yeah, the roads were pretty nice. We'll
Mhm.
talk about that as we go.
Yeah.
Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Hit the follow button, hit the like button, help our channel grow. And we also post on Facebook and LinkedIn for your convenience. And if you hit the link below the show notes, you can maximize your nutrition with products from Mother Earth Labs. And these are products that we use to supplement our diet. And we look at mainstream news story about anti-aging, natural health, history, climate, as well as our freedom. And we do our own analysis, except not today. We're just going to chat today. All topics for today's show are in the show notes today. We don't have any show notes. So if any questions or comments, you can use the link below the show notes, nicodehaan@me.com, or you can, let's see, I've got that. Find that one. Show that one. Yeah, nicodehaan@me.com. And
if you have any, as we go, or as you think about our content today, if you have some experiences to share as well, we'd appreciate having them in the comments. That would be great.
Yeah, we're basically going to be talking about what we've been.
Let me say
it. Okay, cool.
Okay, all right. We recently returned from about almost 2 weeks on the road for family celebrations and the holidays, Thanksgiving. And it brought to mind quite a number of things to think about in terms of your daily health and your well-being. And so we thought we would talk about a few different aspects of getting through the holidays and getting through travel without losing your intentions and your lifestyle and so on.
Yeah, it comes to mind for me that, of course, starting at the beginning of the year, you kind of start over again. You make some resolutions, perhaps, and you try to clean up your act, and the next year is going to be great. And this is the time of year when there's a lot of different food out, a lot of traditional food. A lot of it's great, and a lot of it's not that great for you. But
there's
kind
a
of
variety of foods that maybe you wouldn't eat during the year.
Well, we certainly wouldn't. Yeah, and even when we're on the road.
No, well, let's take this step by step.
Okay.
What kinds of foods do you eat year round versus the temptations of the holiday food,
or even traveling food?
And when you're traveling, how do you maintain your healthy diet and the one that makes you feel good and the one that is nutritious and good for you?
Yeah. So our primary diet is more of a carnivore style diet. We do eat some vegetables, but most of the time our vegetables are kind of condiments. So we have pickles and things like that are soured. We do eat some fermented foods, and that's usually sauerkraut, things like that. So we don't eat the potatoes and.
Well, occasionally we'll have some potatoes. Potatoes are really carbohydrates. They're the vegetables that are carbohydrates.
They're really not a vegetable.
I don't know what they are. They're
a tuber or a root, right?
A root,
yeah.
Right?
And really not indigenous at all to anywhere but South America and the Andes Mountains. So.
Yeah, they were introduced to this country quite a bit after they had been produced in other countries. So.
And they saved a lot of people's lives during famines
and
things like that.
They're survival food.
Sure, exactly. Okay, go ahead.
So we're driving. Let's use our example as of this last trip.
Okay.
We drove. And
let's tell them where we were going.
We were heading out. We went west to California, Southern California first for a family celebration. We spent a couple of days there, and then a couple of days on the road to get there because we went through. We always when we're driving for events, we try also to add some kind of sightseeing or adventure or something. And this time we went through Death Valley.
Yeah. And Death Valley I've been to many times, maybe 30 times in my lifetime, mostly doing off-roading and things like that. When we went this time, the south end of the valley was closed, Bad Water, which is the road.
There was a tremendous amount of rain.
Well,
about
this
the
has been
week
closed for
before.
a long, long time, and it's won't be open again until March of 26.
Mhm.
And that was the route I usually take in because it's a great view going down all these switchbacks, and it's a nice road. It's not an off road, but when you get down to the basin, there's a lot of off road trails there, and one particular I like to take takes us past Stripe Butte, past the cabin of the old geologists that were using it, up through the Baker Ranch was Manson's old hideout, and then down through
Compound.
down through a pass there, Golar Pass, I believe it is, and down through the Trona Pinnacles, which are another really nice site. This time we took the middle road.
We kind of came up from the north down to the south.
Well, it's the middle
Yeah, the
section.
middle,
There's a north
little more north,
exit
yeah,
also, but
yeah.
we went down the middle one.
Mhm.
The fantastic thing about it was all green.
Yeah, all the rain
Yeah,
had
I had
just
never seen it like that. I've
Death
been there
Valley. Not only was
years.
it all green, but there was a section where there was actually a little water retention lake.
Yeah.
And it was quite remarkable to see that. We were fortunate; the rain had stopped. There had been quite a bit of flash flooding in Death Valley before we got there.
Yeah.
The day that we got there was we went earlier in the day.
Yeah.
And the weather was mostly clear, and then the clouds were rolling in by the time we got
it
out.
was raining the first day that we left, and after that it was pretty dry for us mostly.
Yeah, and it wasn't raining very hard. It
No.
was intermittent
Yeah, it
rain
was
and
perfect.
whatever. So Death Valley had we could see the evidence of places where the water runoff had crossed the road.
Yeah.
Quite a number of places that would have been either impassable or quite daunting if we had gotten there during the flash flooding.
Yeah.
And it was closed during the flash flooding anyway. We
Yeah.
wouldn't have been able to go through. But there was just one spot where there was actually even more. There was still some water running.
Yeah.
It was very shallow.
Yeah.
And so on. But
So then we took the exit, the west exit out, which is a paved road. It's a beautiful scenery. It's a big climb.
oh, it was gorgeous.
Yeah, and then we crossed into China Lake, which is a huge valley, very dry, and we took
part of
that road south.
part of the Air Force training grounds.
Yeah,
and
yeah, you see a lot of
flat
jets
type
flying over.
Yeah.
And then we headed south to Ridgeway, which is the China Lake area, and spent the night there.
Yeah. Then
So
we
let's-
continued on into Southern California. So
Yeah.
the question becomes, what are you going to eat when you're on the road?
Yep. And we have a particular plan that we always use, and we've been using this for
Several years now,
I
kind
think
of
probably
regularly.
a couple of decades, maybe.
Not the eggs and bacon.
Eggs
No,
and bacon,
we
at
haven't
least a
been doing
decade.
that. Oh, I don't think so. But anyway, it doesn't matter. I mean, what we do is we hard boil a bunch of eggs, then you vacuum seal them.
Yeah.
In
Usually you
portions.
have one, I have two, so we put three in a vacuum seal, and then we have
and we have a
every morning, yep.
refrigerator in the car, so that
Yep.
maintains.
and you
the
make a
eggs.
lot of bacon.
And I pre-cook the bacon, put it in Ziploc bags, and that's our breakfast most of the time.
Yeah.
Occasionally, depending on where we are, we'll stop and have breakfast.
Yeah, so I think we had 8
One-
days or something like that prepared.
Yeah, we had
Something like
and there
that, 8 or
were,
9 days.
yeah,
Yeah, 9, I think it was.
it was 9 days of eggs and bacon, and which turned out to be perfect.
Yep.
And one day when we didn't eat breakfast because we knew we were eating lunch, that was the first Saturday, and then Sunday there was a brunch, so we didn't.
Yeah, that's when we were in Hollywood.
We were in Hollywood.
North Hollywood.
Mhm.
And we went there for a bat mitzvah.
Bat mitzvah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So that
Yeah,
was
and it was,
nice.
but yeah, well, I
A
mean,
little
it's always good.
celebration.
That's the other thing is that, and we'll talk about this a little more at the family dynamics. But yeah, so we were there. So we left on a Wednesday. The event was on Saturday, and
Got
then
there Friday.
we got there Friday. And
Yeah, about noontime it was.
yeah, it was midday.
Yep.
Yeah. Mhm. And so the point was, while we're on the road getting to Hollywood, we would eat our eggs and bacon for breakfast. We ate before we left the house on Wednesday
Mhm.
before things.
But
the
otherwise,
week
we were
before.
just on the road, and we
Yeah.
usually pack up from the motel. And I should talk about the motels for a second because
Mhm.
we usually stay at Best Western because I've been a club member there for 30 years, and so we get some discounts and
Get lots
things,
of
and we
points,
get
yeah.
lots of points, which we can get a free night here and there.
Mhm.
And the interesting thing was that all the ones that we went to were drive up
Drive up to the door. Yeah.
up to door,
And
which makes a lot of difference.
Every one of them, except the very last
one.
one,
Yeah.
was on our way back. And that we previously, over the years,
We'd be
there maybe been,
elevators.
it might be one or two that we had
Yeah,
that's,
so this was
but
really nice because when
everywhere.
you're packing stuff, and we got a
Yeah.
refrigerator that we have to unpack, which is not hard to do, but
Mhm.
it's just an accumulation of stuff. And then you put it on the dolly, you roll it in, you go up and down the elevator or whatever, and then you have to unpack it in the room. And this way,
Then you had to bring the cart down
Yeah.
again. Well, it was just very nice.
it was very nice because then you could just put it
Just
into
walk
the
it
room.
right
Yeah.
into the room, and we were parked right in front of the door, and
Yeah.
no elevators, and so that was a different experience.
Yeah, that was great.
And we don't eat lunch because we're not hungry, so that wasn't an issue. And
So then we look for a kind of a nice restaurant or a
for
pub
dinner.
or a bar that has
a
food,
brewery,
a brewery, that type of thing, so I can have a nice single malt or
not a single malt, but IPA.
Yeah, that was. I don't do much single malts
No,
anymore. No,
no
but
single
the
malts.
IPAs, yeah.
Not when you're driving. Right? Yeah,
For sure.
yeah.
Yeah, so we always stop at some place, and usually we hunt the night before for that.
Yeah, we make a
destination.
decision on where we might stay for the night, and while we're thinking about places to stop, we also are looking for restaurants.
Yeah, so
possibilities.
sometimes
we did not do fast food ever.
No, we don't do that anymore.
Mm-mm.
No, that always made us hungry, and we stopped
Well,
that.
there's a lot of reasons.
But so
why
we
didn't.
look for a restaurant that's either an hour or so before we stop, or right next to where we stop,
Mhm.
and that's the way we do it.
Yeah,
So-
and we try and limit the number of hours we drive per day, because it is
There was a couple of times we were 6 hours in the car or
more.
sometimes. But if we do it to about 5, seems to be about perfect. And the consequences of sitting in the car for a long time doesn't hit me until I get back.
Mhm.
And
And we have really good seats in the car, and they are heated. So
Mhm.
if we want that or need that, then that's available. But
Yeah, we always take my FJ Cruiser, which is 2007. I bought it in 2006.
Mhm.
It's a 2007 model. So it's an older vehicle. It's got 250,000 miles on it. It runs really, really good. And it's exactly what we need for traveling. It's got 4-wheel drive. So if we have weather, that's not a problem. And it's easy to load and unload.
Right.
And years ago, we bought these Schillmann seats from Germany, which are orthopedic seats. And
They're
really
great.
huge.
They're
Made a
amazing.
huge difference.
Yeah, it did.
But there's still consequences of sitting in the car for a long
Well,
time.
and driving because you're driving, your right leg tends to get.
Well, I'm only moving that red leg just a little bit.
Right.
It's an automatic, so I'm only using the left leg.
Plus,
for
sometimes
brakes.
you set it on cruise control.
Yeah, I'll do that too. But it's just you're sitting in one spot for a long time. That's not good for the body. That's not the way we were built to. We were built to squat and sit
not
on the
to sit
ground.
for 8 hours or whatever.
So anyway, we landed in Hollywood about noontime, which was what we had planned to do. We met some cousins and some
my niece and her
niece and
family. Yeah, we
and hung out with them for a little while. It was great to see
had
them.
a very nice dinner at the hotel.
Mhm.
We had a tomahawk ribeye.
Yeah,
we split.
Yeah, that was amazing.
And
Yeah.
it was very
So
good.
that's really what we try to do at
And
these
that's,
places.
see, that leads us to choices on the menu.
Yeah.
You know, you don't need to eat a bunch of potatoes and you don't need to eat a bunch of vegetables if you don't want to.
Right.
You know, you just eat we ate the tomahawk. They happen to have fingerling potatoes that were roasted and were particularly good.
Yeah.
And we had
a couple of
so we
those.
had a little bit of that just for a
Yeah.
treat. And but and we don't usually order any kind of an appetizer, or we just mainly stick with the main meal.
Yeah. That's the safest thing.
This trip we only had dessert, I think, once. And that was in the hotel on that Friday.
Yeah, it was chocolate something.
Yeah, it was amazing.
Yeah, no doubt about that. Yeah.
It's so
Yeah.
good. But we do carry like dark chocolate with us. And so maybe we'll have a piece or to break off a square or two.
Yeah.
For a treat after dinner.
Yeah, so we stayed in Hollywood for 2 nights and did the facilities and all the things that go along with going to the synagogue and things like that. And that was great. Seeing family, that's great.
Mhm.
And then we kind of hit the road, and our plan was to just head north. We always like to take that coast highway, Highway 1.
Pacific Coast Highway.
Yeah, but south of Big Sur for the last couple of years, that's been closed because of landslides. Still closed until I think it was sometime in the middle of this month. It might be open, but it was closed. So we took the 101 all the
And
way
it
up.
was close enough to the ocean that in a lot of spots, as we proceeded north towards the wine country,
Yeah,
we got gorgeous views of the ocean and we were driving through some redwood forests, and
Yeah.
it was a beautiful drive.
yeah. We stayed in Hellsberg. We spent a night in St. Louis Obispo area first. Then we went to Hellsberg,
Mhm.
the wine country area, and we really didn't visit a lot of wineries or anything like that.
We have
just
been
kinda-
there about 6 times,
Yeah.
and we thought, well, we enjoyed the ride.
Yeah.
It was beautiful.
We just basically wanted to eat something, see a little scenery, and get to bed so we could start heading north.
And we
because
were heading to Oregon.
yeah, we were heading to Eugene,
Mhm.
and what we wanted to do was take the coast highway from Hellsberg north.
Mhm.
So I think we got to the coast about just north of Fort Bragg and headed toward Crescent City, and that's where we spent the next night.
And that's very, very close to the Oregon border.
But yeah, that was we put us again. We tried to get into Eugene about noontime again,
Yeah, yeah.
and so yeah, it worked out kind of perfect. And we took the coast highway all the way up to almost where Eugene. I forget the city that was on the coast there, but that's usually where we turn.
Mhm.
And yeah, spectacular views, nice ride out. You're not speeding on the freeway or anything.
Yeah, we're not on freeways.
Yeah, we're just kind of taking it easy and
Mhm.
just enjoying ourselves going through the redwoods, like you said. It was awesome. And then that Wednesday was the day that we got to Eugene, right?
Yeah,
Wednesday
we
before
got there
Thanksgiving.
Wednesday. We took my niece and her husband and the 2 kids out for dinner.
Yeah, that night.
Had a lovely dinner. And then Thursday was Thanksgiving.
Yep.
And so what did we do? We connected with my niece, and we took a 3.5-mile walk around on the river walk.
Yeah, that was nice.
It was beautiful. The weather was perfect. It was
Yeah.
a little bit, it was just cold
little
enough that
drizzly.
you wore a coat. And when we first started, it was just like misting a little,
Yeah.
and then that stopped. And then
And if you know the Eugene area, there's a lot of rain that always takes place.
it's Pacific,
Took a little break.
it's Pacific Northwest.
Yeah, took a little break for us, so that was
Yeah.
nice.
In fact, we knew we were in Oregon because as we drove through the redwoods, they were covered with moss
Yes.
from all the moisture.
Yeah.
But yeah, we stayed at a Best Western, and we were fortunate because it's a college town, of course, and
Well, I remember the last time we went there was some events going
Well,
on. That was the
there was
Olympics
the
trials or
Olympic
something.
trials for the track and field.
And the only
And
hotels that were available were the
graduation.
high-end hotels, and it was
Well,
$300
even no
a
matter what,
room. Yeah,
it was. I
and
mean, the Comfort Inn was $350 a night,
something like that. Yeah, so
and
they really
well,
jacked up
we
the
ended up
prices.
staying with some good friends.
Yeah,
That worked out. But this time we didn't have any problems, and
and all the hotels that we picked were pretty reasonable, around anywhere from 80 to $120 a night.
right.
So pretty reasonable for
Yeah,
today's
yeah.
prices.
So they were very nice. You know, the Best Westerns are always nice and clean.
Well, the most expensive hotel was in Hollywood there.
Oh,
But that was a
well,
small.
it's a boutique hotel. It's
Yeah.
called the Garland, and it was originally a Holiday Inn. It was bought by the husband of a starlet,
Yeah,
and he converted it to this
really nice place.
boutique hotel. And there's 2 buildings of rooms with a couple of floors, 3 or 4 floors.
But
And
those
then
the hotel and the Best Westerns were huge compared to that, and they were only 82.
The rooms,
And, yeah, the
yeah,
rooms.
the
Yeah,
rooms, yeah. They were. We had some very nice,
yeah. So that was
very
pretty
nice
amazing.
Best Western rooms. That we drove up to the door and walked in and went, "Oh my, this is very nice."
Yeah, pretty nice.
Yeah,
So
it was fine. But so that brings me to the concept of sleeping when you're on.
yeah,
Sleep is very important to your health and well-being, of course, and your mental state. And it was interesting because when we had these drive-up hotels, that was a wonderful thing, except for one thing, and that was the parking was right outside your room for everybody.
Mhm.
And we had 2 nights in a row. The first night, we had a big, like, F-350 or something parked next to you,
Well, it was a diesel.
and it was a diesel.
So he
Whatever it
warmed-
was a diesel.
Yeah, and he warmed it
And
up for quite a long
he
time.
decided to, he had to leave his room at 5 o'clock in the morning and warm up his truck before he got going. And it was really loud. But we kind of got used to that idea. And the second night when it happened again, not as loud at all, but we didn't even really notice.
No.
And that was fine. So sleeping in a hotel bed. You know, it's the hotels have all been refurbished. So the furniture is nice and the carpet is nice and clean and modern. The bathrooms have all been redone.
Yeah.
And the beds are generally extremely comfortable.
Yeah.
And the only thing I have found is that I always sleep, if I'm facing the bed, I'm sleeping on the left side. You sleep on the right side. And it seems like everybody who uses that room sleeps on the left side. So every once in a while, I'm kind of finding myself leaning over I have to move a little more towards the middle of the bed, but but the question is, how do you sleep in a hotel? How do you sleep on the road? We usually here at home, you go to bed, well, nights before you're teaching at 6:30 in the morning, you're going to bed around 8:30.
Mm-hmm.
And
otherwise it's like close to 9:30 or
10 o'clock. And then I will stay up with no lights on and just reading from my iPad for a little while to give you a chance to really get deep sleep before I come to bed. And but with the traveling, so even though I'm not driving, I find myself tired at the end of the day. And when you're ready for bed, I generally just go to bed and fall asleep right away.
Yeah. Well, we're in a sitting position for such many hours, which, first of all, we're not used to. So that's a whole different thing. I usually do some exercises when I get to the hotel, or a lot of times I may wait to do them in the morning. Just my normal routines, maybe not as much as I do at home. And then we just have our routine for getting ready to go.
Yeah, I call it prep, pack, and load.
Okay.
So we keep a logbook, by the way, which is a really handy thing. I keep a logbook of the trip.
Yep.
And it's come in very handy over the years because I'll make a note of a restaurant we really liked, if we're heading in the same direction, we might stop there again.
Right.
We've done that a couple times. And I also keep a logbook of the gas and the mileage and the cost of the gas and so on. One of the reasons is just to double check our MasterCard bill when it comes in, make sure that we haven't that people haven't decided that they could use our MasterCard from the gas station, or something. But
we haven't had too many problems. A lot of times when we traveled, we would get a different charge, or somebody would be scanning something. Anyway, we get a email or an alert saying that there's a problem with the card.
And that's always fun, because then they shut your card down in the middle of your trip.
Yeah. And then you have to use another card, which is not a big deal, but then we have to replace the card, and that's always a hassle. This time we had no problem at all.
No.
So that was good. So
so what do you do if you have trouble sleeping when you're away from your own bed?
Yeah, I haven't had that problem. I mean, I slept
you
really
haven't
good.
had that problem, but somebody might. So there's a few different options. One of which, let's see, the first one that comes to mind is turn off the TV, turn off anything with blue light, and at least an hour before you go to bed.
Yeah.
Let your brain calm down a bit.
Yeah. Do some breathing exercises. Do some slow exercise, yoga type of thing.
Stretching.
Take a warm shower can help.
Right.
Things like that.
Right. Take a warm shower. And so that's the first thing. Then we have things like there's melatonin that you can take that helps you fall asleep. You use
I use these mushroom, they're little gummies, some different kind of mushroom. I forget exactly.
They put you to sleep.
They actually help your body relax. Take a couple of those, and an hour or so later, you kind of going, oh, I feel good. Okay.
But it's not a high. It's a relax.
No. Yeah, definitely not a high.
No. So that works. And there's CBD oil that you can take.
Yeah.
I take a little CBD gummy with no THC in it, right? Later in the evening, a while before I go to bed.
Yeah.
And
you have a lot of choices for that if you need.
Yeah. So be mindful of that because you need to get sleep. You need to feel, especially if you're the one driving.
Yeah. So we were in Eugene, and after all the facilities and everything, we left Friday morning after Thanksgiving.
Well, we had a nice Thanksgiving dinner with the family, and that was great and fun. And
and me connecting more with them, because I haven't spent as much time as you have with them, and they don't know me as well. And it was nice
getting to know everybody.
Yeah,
and
I got some nice comments.
The kids are growing up.
Yeah, that too.
So it was a lovely visit. And
so then we left.
And then we left on the Friday after Thanksgiving.
Yeah, we kind of hightailed it out, and we took the south route through Oregon.
Well, because the weather was iffy.
Yeah, it was raining and snowing in some of the higher elevations. So we took leaving that early. I thought it probably would, if you go north to Portland, then you can take the freeway. And that's about an hour.
That's another, first you have to go up 2 hours.
Yeah, but you can go faster. But I figured nobody's going to be on the road Friday morning early.
Black Friday.
Yeah.
Right.
They're going to be shopping, or they're going to be
recovering from
turkey. Yeah. So I figured, well, we'll just take that south route, which was the perfect thing to do. And hardly anybody on the road.
Yeah, it was very, and the weather was excellent.
Yeah. And we drove and ate.
We drove a long day.
Yeah, we ate about 4 o'clock.
And we also had a time change.
Yeah, that's right. So
we were on the road. We were on the road for 12 hours.
Yeah, it was going to be 17 hours plus the other hour for the time change for the full trip.
Right. So we drove about
11
we were
hours,
on the road for 12 hours, including an hour.
Yeah, which took us to
we
Provo,
stopped for dinner.
Right? Just south of Salt Lake City.
We stopped at
we stopped for the night at Provo.
Yeah.
Yeah, we ate someplace north
before
of,
we got there.
So
and then the next morning we got up.
We
Prep,
were home
pack, and
by,
load.
yeah, pack and load, and we were home by about 1 o'clock in the afternoon, I think,
Yeah.
something like that.
It was great. And we had been a little concerned because we were hearing that our area was due for a big snowfall, but
Most of it
there
was
was
north of
no
us.
there
Yeah.
was no snow in the Four Corners.
Yeah, and our driveway was clear. So
Everything was clear, and so that worked. And then the snow came in on Sunday.
yeah,
So
so that was nice.
that was
Yeah.
perfect. But boy, I mean, it really did snow all day. It was gorgeous.
So
winter
now
weather.
it's, we're in the midst of the holidays, and so we're not probably going to be the next podcast is going to
Well,
be in
wait,
January.
wait, one more thing I want to talk about.
Oh, sure.
Just exercise in general.
Mhm.
You know, when you get to the hotel, you can stretch. You can take a walk. There a lot of the hotels have swimming pools,
Mhm.
so pack a suit and go swim.
Take a walk.
When we did our pre-Thanksgiving dinner walk, that was a 3.2 mile walk. I mean, there are things that you can do on the road. I mean, you don't have to like leave your hotel room if you're only there overnight. You don't have to leave your hotel room and wander around a neighborhood you don't know or by the freeway or whatever. But you certainly can do the kind of things that you do, push-ups and squats, and there are
Just some stretching, some mild
and
stretching, some
and a lot
mobility.
of
Yeah.
stretching. Yeah, stretching your legs, especially after you've been sitting. And in my case, I'm stretching. I'm working on ankles and calves, and I do arm exercises and do push-ups. And so there are things that you can do even though you're not going to and a lot of the hotels do have gyms or workout rooms or
Yeah.
whatever, so that's a possibility as well. And so that's kind of our thoughts about it. You have choices in restaurants. You can we have a restaurant in town that we like to go to, and they have a blackened ribeye special for you.
Love that.
And when you order it, you say, I want the blackened ribeye, and I don't need any potatoes or vegetables, and you just get the meat.
Yeah.
And
works for me.
And I usually we usually go on a day that it's prime rib day, and I get prime rib. Instead of having the mashed potatoes, I order the sweet potato. And sweet potatoes, it turns out, are not potatoes at all.
No, they're a root vegetable.
They're a root vegetable, and they're much better for you because a white potato is actually white or yellow, whatever. The regular potatoes are part of the nightshade family, and they don't agree with me that well. And so being able to have a little sweet potato is a nice treat. But it's a matter of, people say, well, the carnivore diet is very difficult to stick to. Well, we've been on it for about 15 years. And I mean, evolving. We started with the Primal diet and the keto, the 30-30.
Well, carnivore is 100% meat. We're not that, but we're probably 95%. And so we watch the other things very closely. And most of the time when we're eating vegetables, they're treated in such a way that they're much easier.
They're started on the road to digestion before we get to them.
Yeah. So, and you have to find your own way.
But here's the point. There's no reason why you can't travel and enjoy your time away from home without veering from your path. That you can still make decisions and still make choices.
Well, even just going out, you don't have to veer from the path.
And generally, but especially during the holidays. And
well, the reason we make our breakfast for the road ahead of time and do that is not only because we know what we're eating, because bacon and eggs you can pretty much get anywhere, and they may not be the same eggs or the same bacon that we use, but pretty close. But it's also expensive. I mean, now most places is 30, at least 25 to $30.
For
Some
two people to
places,
have nothing but eggs and bacon, no toast,
right,
no potatoes,
right,
no grits, no nothing.
yeah. So it's
And
not cheap.
the other
So that
thing is
saves a lot of money if
it's
you're going for.
45 minutes also.
Well, yeah, that too. If you're traveling, you want to get someplace, then
Mhm.
it's an extra hour or more
Right,
that you're not driving. So
right,
that's 60, 70, or 80 miles, depending on where you are.
right.
So, yeah.
It's just time and I mean, we could afford to eat breakfast out, but it's so easy to do
Well,
it
if you
this
take
way.
10 days on the road
Mhm.
and it's
10
30
times
bucks,
30 is
that's 300
300
bucks.
bucks.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah.
but it's good to be back and getting back in the routine of making your morning walk and doing the things you do, getting back to your jujitsu. That's always, a mark in your mind. How will I perform? And it's always great. So I don't have any complaints about getting back to the normal routine. The only thing I did have is some problem with my back. And actually, my hip kind of locked up. And
And that
yeah,
was probably from the driving.
yeah, it's just
You
from
figured.
sitting in the
Mhm,
car for hours and hours, and
mhm,
that's the thing that happens to me a lot. I've driven for years, and it's always bothered me a little bit. This time it locked up a little bit more. I have ways of unlocking it and doing things, and I'm going for a massage today, so
mhm.
that's always going to help. And actually, in jujitsu, it all worked just fine. It's just it bothers me more when I sleep, and it didn't bother me through the trip at all. When I
Mm,
got home, it started bothering me every single night. I even had to
mm,
take a couple of nights of take some ibuprofen because it was just throbbing and waking me up. But those are things that you understand that why it happened, and you have your routines of how to fix it, and of course you have help like a massage and things like that that can
mhm,
help straighten that out.
mhm.
So it was an enjoyable trip. We love it. It's great to be back home. It's the holidays right now, so it's a busy time. We got some parties to go to.
Well, we
We got
have
a
an
little
open
open
house on
house. Yeah.
Saturday, and I was thinking about that too. And it was when we moved here. We moved here in June of 2021,
Yep.
and we closed on the house on June 1st. In fact, and the first Christmas we were here was was quite a bit different for us because back in Florida, we had a group of people that we would get together with on Christmas Eve.
Mhm.
We would get together, or maybe on Christmas. We would. We had, there were people around. We had an open house every year, and we would have about 75 people at the open house.
Mhm.
And coming and going, and we were here, we really didn't know very many people. I mean, you knew people from the dojo.
Yeah, and that's really who we invited
Well,
to the
that
first
was the
open
second
house.
year.
Was that the second year?
Yeah, so the second Christmas we were here was the Christmas of 22.
Okay.
And so now we had met people, plus we had gotten more friendly with people from the dojo. And so we had our first open house, and we had probably about 30 or so people
Mhm.
at the open house. That event has grown so that last year we had about 70 people here.
Have that many?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
We did. And this year it'll probably be more.
Never know, but it's an
Well,
open
that
house, so people come and go.
after I
Yeah,
invited the whole dojo to the party. After
yeah, but
that,
not everybody comes.
no, of
Mostly
course,
from my
but
class.
I expect a nice crowd,
Yeah.
and so it's evolved into, and this year I've got folks who have said, now let me bring some stuff out. One of our good friends is bringing two different kinds of chili.
And that was really good stuff too. She makes some really good stuff. Yeah, so we have some help with it, which is nice.
Yeah,
I think last year I made a
you made
brisket,
a brisket. Yeah.
and I kind of miscalculated the time, so I really wasn't ready. Our party usually starts at 5. I think it was 8:30 before we got.
Before the brisket was
Yeah,
served.
but
I'm making a lasagna this year,
yeah,
and we're gonna have two kinds of chili. Plus, I do charcuterie.
yeah, and other people will bring some things too.
And
So
people
and mostly cold cuts. So after that,
charcuterie.
Check. No. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And so we'll have plenty of food, and it's just turning more into a community event.
Yeah, and then we have little dinners that we're planning with different friends, and yeah,
We have
it's going to be
birthday
I'm
celebrations. And we
looking
have,
forward to the holidays. It's really nice.
yeah.
We'll do something for New Year's Eve.
Yeah, that's the other thing that we do. We were doing every year in Florida was New Year's Eve, because we didn't like being out on New Year's Eve for a number of reasons. First,
Yeah.
being safety on the roads,
Yeah.
and second, being the prices are generally jacked up at the restaurants. They add extra tables so they can get more people in, and
Yeah, and it's just a lot more people, and also the driving and things like that. So
yeah. So we don't go out on New Year's Eve,
Yeah.
and but it was fun to go for New Year's Eve, and it had evolved into kind of a large group.
Yeah.
But anyway, so that was another thing we kind of missed when we first moved here.
Mhm.
But we are going to resurrect that this year, because we will have some additional friends from Florida who had been part of the New Year's Eve event,
That's right.
and they're going to be here.
Yeah.
So we'll have
Some people
them,
have
and
followed us.
we have our dear friends that we meet once a week for dinner, and other friends that we meet once a week for lunch. And so we're
Yes.
going to get together a group of people and do New Year's Eve.
Yep.
So it's been evolving. We got a new Christmas tree this year that is 7.5 feet tall. Very nice. So
Does its own thing sometimes. We have all these different lights.
haunted.
Sometimes we wake up and it's on. Sometimes it's off. Sometimes
it's on when you turn it on. Then an hour later it goes off. So we haven't figured out the timer yet.
Well, not many instructions. Just press the button. Anyway.
Yeah. But anyway, so we're looking forward to the holidays this year, and
so as I was saying before, that this will be the only show this month. Next month we'll start getting back into some of the routines and the regular programming that we normally will try to do about our health and how we're doing in that. And we're feeling really good about the holidays, and feeling good health wise. Get my back adjusted a little bit today, so I'll be right back into prime form. So that's pretty much it. We just wanted to tell you what was going on. I don't know if this is interesting to you, but
it's good to touch on things on how do you maintain your lifestyle when you're either on the road or out to dinner or it's holiday time.
Yeah.
And all those cookies and cakes and all those yummy things that people serve, you can eat one.
Yeah, I had a couple of pieces of brownie. That was fabulous. So that was pretty much my dessert, and a little ice cream now and then. And that was about it.
Yeah, and we've cut way back on desserts at home. We have a little dark chocolate. Usually, every once in a while, we'll throw a little bit of ice cream on that, or and I baked for the party. I baked Toll House cookies, and I baked brownies, and I bake with almond flour. And I bake with olive oil and avocado oil instead of butter, so that people who have food allergies can enjoy the dessert. And so I like to bake. I really like to bake.
Well, you're good at it.
Yeah.
Well, that's pretty much the show. Anyway, we just want to tell you what was going on. We'll see you in January. Hope everybody has a great Christmas, and
happy Hanukkah, happy Kwanzaa, and happy New Year.
And happy life.
Happy life.
See you next time.
Be well and be safe.
Bye-bye now.